So Mark, what was it about Contraband that made you want to produce it and be in it?
I just thought it was a fresh take on and a cool heist. It was just this little Icelandic movie that we found, and but just there was so much attention to detail. You learned so much about the world of smuggling, and these characters are so rich and well-rounded. Usually when you have a movie like this, whether it's a straightforward action movie or a heist movie, you don't really get invested in the characters all that much. But I thought the original did a great job of that, and it was a world that I wasn't really familiar with, so I thought it would make for a great movie to remake.
Talking of your character then, who is Chris Faraday in your eyes?
Chris Faraday is a guy who, listen, he lives in a pretty seedy world for most of his life, and now, he's tried to go on the straight and narrow for his wife and his children. He's building his own business. He's gone legit, and unfortunately for him, his brother-in-law is not the sharpest tool in the shed, makes some pretty stupid mistakes, and so Chris has to go in and basically clean up his mess, and he gets lured back into the world of smuggling, which is something that, he finds exciting and thrilling, but at the same time, the stakes are really much higher now where his family's in danger.
One of the very interesting relationships is the one that he has with his best friend Sebastian. What can you say about that?
Childhood friends, which is another reason why I really wanted Ben Foster, because I was a big fan of his, and when the first time we met, we really hit it off. So we actually spent a lot of time. That was more of the prep that I did was just hanging out with him. So we really got comfortable with each other to the point where you felt like we had been friends for a long time. And then, of course, without giving anything away, some stuff happens.
I believe the character developed with Ben. He's an extraordinary actor. What do you think he brought to that role?
He is such an extraordinary actor. He's such an intense guy, but he's also, very open emotionally. So, because we have such strong other villains in the movie, and Giovanni and Mr. O'Hara, you really get the sense that, he's on my side, and he's just lured into this world too, and, things just spiral out of control, he loses it.
You mentioned one of the other villains. That's Briggs, played by Giovanni.
Mm-hmm.
Did he surprise you in that role?
Yeah, well, I've always been a huge fan of his too. He's such a good actor. But they're both very, very intense actors, but very different in their approach. Like when we were going through the rehearsal process, Giovanni would explore his character, his accent, reading the scenes, and Ben refused to read any scenes. So that freaked out Baltazar, our director, a little bit. But they both have a very, very strong presence in the movie.
And then you have extraordinary actors in very small roles, but that are key, like Diego Luna, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say about it?
Diego Luna's awesome. I mean, it was one of those things where, we were kind of figuring, well, we'll just audition a bunch of people because we're not going to get anybody, that strong. It's a really small part. And then somebody slipped the script to Diego, and he responded to the material. And they were like, you serious? He really wants to do it? And we were able to get him. And we had a really strong cast all the way around. So.
One of them, of course, being Kate Beckinsale, who plays your wife. What can you say about her?
You've been asking a lot about Kate, huh? I'm a big fan of hers. No, she's extraordinary. She's she's a beautiful girl, but in this, she's kind of really just kind of stripped down and playing a blue collar housewife, and she's probably done a lot of action stuff lately, and she wanted to get back into doing something gritty and real, and she showed up, and she's a bit intimidating at first because she's this beautiful woman. She seems to be very sophisticated, but she's getting down and dirty with us in this movie. It's good.
So does Baltazar. Many people are going to discover him now, even though he's in Europe very well-known actor and filmmaker. Mm-hmm. What was he like to work with?
Awesome. I mean, everybody's discovered him, but we've got him under a lifetime contract. We literally went back to old Hollywood and signed him forever. He's such a talented guy. We made this movie in less than 40 days. I mean, I just did another interview, and people, they couldn't believe what the budget was, and the amount of days that we had to shoot. He's right in there. He's a very hands-on filmmaker. He's an actor first, so he's great at communicating with the actors and pulling out the best performances from everybody.
One of the characters in the movie, without any doubt, is that amazing ship that you're on.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a city in itself, the stuff that could go on in a ship like that. And that's why I was also amazed to find out how, government officials and police and stuff try to regulate what's in those ships and what's not, because it's such a gigantic thing. There's no way they could track everything that goes on and off of those ships.
Most of the shoot was in New Orleans. Do you like working there?
I love working there. We're working there again. It's a great town. We decided to kind of show not the slickest parts of the city. You know, we wanted to show the real kind of, you know, back roads and seedy bars of New Orleans. And, you know, New Orleans is also a character in the film, as is Panama.
You were a few days in Panama. How was
Yeah.
that?
Exciting. Exciting. It's like the Wild Wild West down there. You know, we weren't regulated in anything that we were doing. We kind of basically got off the plane with the cameras, and we were free to do whatever we wanted.
How comfortable are you shooting all the action, Mark?
I'm pretty comfortable with it. You know, I never want to do anything too dangerous now, being, you know, a 40-year-old father of four. But, you know, I've done it all before, so, you know, I'm comfortable around weapons and stuff like that, and I'm always good in a car chase as long as I'm behind the wheel. I feel a little more confident, a little more safe.
What do you like about your character?
That he's a guy's guy, and also that he's as smart as he is tough. I mean, the way that he's responding to these dilemmas, and he's faced with quite a few of them along this journey, just the way that he handles it and figures everything out in a simplistic way, but also a very realistic way.
The film also touches on very important themes, like the importance of friendship, of family, of what
Loyalty and trust.
What are the themes of the movie for you?
Well, you hit him right on the head, and the most important thing is being able to provide and protect your family. When somebody threatens your family in any way, all the rules are out the window, and so that was a big deal for me, having, you know, my own family, and, you know, knowing that I would do whatever I had to do to protect mine.
Serious themes, but also there's some humor in the movie. It's a movie that goes past very quickly. Was that important to you?
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of the humor in all those scenes were stuff that we improvised. The script was written as pretty serious, but, you know, we wanted to be able to kind of lighten the mood in specific places because of the intensity in most of the film. So Balthazar was really comfortable with me, you know, just insulting everybody and taking the piss out of people as often as possible.
Following up on that, what was the energy like on set then?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, Balthazar really set the tone. He's such a hands-on guy that he would, you know, like the scene where I got to throw Giovanni down the stairs. He was basically showing the stunt guy how to fall down the stairs, and he'd fall and whack his head on the cement, and, you know, or he'd try to jump in there and hit his head on a light. He's clumsy, but he's hands-on.
He's not in the movie as an actor. He could have been, though.
No, he could have been, yeah, for sure. We were talking about at one point that he could have been the guy, Olaf, in the engine room. But that's his friend who plays that part.
Were you surprised in the end about what he was available, you know, capable of pulling away with the budget that you had and the time that you had, what he's done?
That's why we hired him for our next movie. You know, we're going to milk him for everything it's worth.
Internationally, this is a film that takes place in a specific place, but it also has a very international feel, and many people are going to discover things about that world. Me personally, I had no idea about. Do you think this is a movie that could play well anywhere?
Yeah, for sure. That's why we're going to travel the world and go and promote this movie, door to door, literally.
Well, I think you're going to do very well, Ted. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.